Prime Minister Mark Carney has unveiled 6 new megaprojects designed to reshape the country's economic and energy landscape. When Carney announced that the reveal would take place in Prince Rupert, many believed there would be a Northern Gateway 2.0 announcement, a resurrection of the long-debated West Coast pipeline. After all, recent reports suggested that Alberta Premier Danielle and Prime Minister Carney were making real progress toward a memorandum of understanding on a new interprovincial energy framework. For weeks, insiders whispered that the two were close to striking a deal that could further open the door to West Coast energy exports. If you want a full breakdown of those negotiations and what a Northern Gateway revival might look like, check out my other video on this channel, Northern Gateway 2.0, the Grand Bargain with Alberta. But as it turns out, the event took place in Terrace, BC, and wasn't about Northern Gateway at all. The real reason for the location of the event was the formal inclusion of the Lissims LNG project, a major Indigenous-led development that had already received both provincial and federal approval. Located on the northern coast of British Columbia, this facility will have a planned capacity of exporting up to 1.6 billion cubic feet per day of liquefied natural gas, positioning it as Canada's second biggest LNG export terminal. It's led jointly by the Nisga'a Nation, Rockies LNG Partners, and Western LNG, marking a new chapter in Indigenous-led energy partnerships. Beyond the billions in investment and thousands of jobs, it's also a symbolic shift, a project where local nations are not just consulted, but at the head table as owners and beneficiaries. For British Columbia, Lisims means a major boost in employment, export revenues, and infrastructure in the coastal north. For Canada, it expands LNG export capacity, strengthens the country's role in lowering global emissions, and helps diversify export markets, leading to better pricing for Canadian natural gas. In the east, the Sisonen mine in New Brunswick takes center stage as one of the flagship critical mineral projects. Focused on tungsten and molybdenum, Sisonen could become a cornerstone of Canada's push to secure supply chains for the materials that power everything from EV batteries to wind turbines. In fact, the project has already attracted strategic funding. The U.S. Department of Defense awarded approximately 20 million Canadian dollars to help advance the project under the Defense Production Act, and the Government of Canada committed up to $8.2 million to support updated feasibility and engineering design. The benefits are significant. For New Brunswick, the mine promises hundreds of construction jobs, dozens of full-time operations positions, and increased revenues and tax base for a region long seeking large industrial projects. For Canada as a whole, it strengthens the domestic supply of tungsten and molybdenum, two minerals where China currently dominates global production, reducing reliance on foreign sources and enhancing national security. The project had already obtained federal and provincial environmental approvals, but may be in line for other help to make the project less of a risk for investors. The Carney government's budget last week included a new critical mineral sovereign fund with $2 billion over 5 years for strategic investments. If developed, the Sisonen mine would be in operation for about 27 years and cost an estimated $579 million. Northcliffe Resources is 81% owned by New Zealand's Todd Corporation. In northern Ontario, the Crawford Nickel Project joins the list. Developed by Canada Nickel Company, this site is one of the largest undeveloped nickel deposits in the world. According to an economic impact study, Crawford is expected to generate over $70 billion in Canadian GDP over its 40-plus year life. It is also projected to create about 1,000 direct jobs and 3,000 indirect or induced jobs. Nickel is a key ingredient in electric vehicle batteries, and as automakers race to build supply chains across North America, the Crawford project could anchor Ontario's position as the continent's clean tech manufacturing hub. It also includes innovative carbon capture integration and a low-emission mining design, setting a new bar for responsible resource development. For Ontario, this means well-paying long-term jobs in the Timmins region, new downstream processing facilities, and economic diversification beyond legacy mining.
For Canada as a whole, it strengthens the domestic supply of nickel and byproducts, essential for further electrification while significantly reducing greenhouse gas intensity in mining operations.
Over in Quebec, the Nouveau Monde Graphite Phase 2 project was officially named. This expansion will transform the Matawini mine and the Bécancour battery materials plant into one of the world's first fully integrated, zero-emission graphite operations. Quebec brings to this effort abundant hydroelectric power, a robust clean energy grid, and a strong provincial battery materials ecosystem. In Quebec, the benefits include regional manufacturing jobs, an enhanced materials value chain, not just mining, but refining and battery anode production, and stronger export-ready material production. Canada benefits by reducing dependence on overseas graphite suppliers, especially from regions with higher carbon footprints, advancing North America's battery material security, and moving further toward the goal of low-carbon resource industrial leadership. Further north, the Iqaluit Hydro Project represents a long-awaited leap forward for Nunavut's energy independence. A recent funding announcement committed up to $6 million for front-end engineering and design work for a water power facility near Iqaluit, expected to feature around 15 to 30 megawatts capacity. This project will connect Iqaluit to a renewable hydroelectric source, replacing diesel generation and cutting emissions across the territory. It carries social and symbolic weight, delivering reliable, clean energy in one of the most remote parts of the country while reducing fuel dependency and local costs. Through training Inuit community members in operations and letting more power dollars remain in Nunavut, it also supports local capacity building and economic sovereignty. For Nunavut, this means reduced energy costs and new technical jobs in the territory. For Canada, it advances northern resilience, enhances Arctic development, reduces national greenhouse gas emissions, and strengthens sovereignty in the north. Rounding out the list are at least two major transmission projects. These are designed to link provincial power grids, moving electricity where it's needed most, especially as the country faces growing demand from electrification and industrial expansion. Ottawa has made clear that transmission interconnection is now a national priority. Canada's future clean grid, Carney said, depends on building the arteries that carry renewable power from coast to coast. While these announcements are undeniably positive for Canada's economy and energy transition, there's another story beneath the surface. Many insiders point out that the only reason these projects are moving forward now is because the federal government had to fast-track them through layers of regulatory red tape. That raises an uncomfortable question. If we needed to speed through the process just to make progress, perhaps the system itself is too slow, too complex, and too burdensome for modern development. Streamlining regulation may have been necessary this time, but Canada's long-term competitiveness may depend on whether this fast-track model becomes the new normal. These projects represent a cross-country effort to rebuild Canada's economic foundation for the 21st century. If fully realized, they could reshape the way energy, resources, and industry flow across the nation, a modern echo of the great infrastructure waves that built the railways and pipelines of generations past. Canada's next era of nation-building has begun, but the speed at which it's unfolding may say as much about our challenges as it does about our ambitions.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, subscribe to this channel, Hum of the Earth Canada, for more relevant videos about Canada and its future. Also, this is a new channel, so subscribing helps a lot. You can also share your feedback and thoughts in the comments section. And if you're interested in cool places around the world, you can check out my other channel, Hum of the Earth. All right, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, have a great one.